This is our 1, and this is our 10 of my first platformer level, which I'm going to show you how I went from a simple, dumb, boring layout to a masterpiece, in my opinion. And this is how I did it. I just uploaded my newest level and video, which I'm sure you know about. It's just Jazzy Juice. It's probably my best level right now, and I'm very proud of it. You should go check it out. Links in the description right now to the video, and I'll put the ID in the description as well. I kind of hit like a roadblock. I was bored after I uploaded the level and the video because I didn't have anything else to do after that. I just finished it, and then I just watched the Skyrocket. Past the most views I ever got for a documentary type video, over 700. And then past 2,000, and it's at like 2,300 right now. We'll see where it goes to. But I was bored. I didn't know what else to make. Then I remembered, there's a new mode. It doesn't have to be going in one direction. You can go both ways. So, I wanted to make my first platformer level. Now, I've made some before, but they're just like speedrunning challenges, nothing special. I wanted to make a high quality, rate-worthy level. So I hopped into GD, made a new level, picked a song, and then deleted the entire level. I did that like 5 times before I found a song that I liked, which I think is on screen right now. But once I'd made that, I instantly had a great idea for what I was going to do at the beginning, which I didn't in the beginning. But it definitely did help make up a full theme for the level, which would be like a Sky Kingdom sort of a thing, with mines, which didn't make much sense to me at the time, but you'll see. And I thought what I wanted to do was spend 10 hours on the level. Let's see how good it was. So that's exactly what I started to do. I worked on it for 1 hour straight. I just sat down, finished the first hour. But the first thing that I started doing on this level was I wanted to make it transition. So once you went up, which was the first thing that you do, because the music built up. So you go straight up into the sky, you'd go through the floor, and there'd be like a little thing, kind of like an anime opening, I guess. I have no good way to explain it. But you kind of just burst through the floor, and then you'd be there, and there'd be this little guy to greet you. So I finished making it, so then I burst through the floor, then I added the little guy, and later on I'll add the little like effect as I come through the floor. So the next thing I want to do was start working on the actual level part of the level. So I made a little room, which would be the main part of my level, and I just started adding platforms and fiddling around with the new triggers. Now this was going great. I had the triggers under control, well, for the most part, and I even had an idea for what I was going to do for the decoration. But I didn't want to start that just yet because it was a bit ambitious, especially for my sort of style. But once I'd finished the first room, I made a little hallway that went to the next room. Now, the hallway was a very boring idea. I didn't really have much thought put into it. It was just a hallway, like 2 blocks high. But the next part was probably one of my favorite parts. I wanted to make a rope, because this tunnel was going to be the first part of the mine. But before I got to the rope, I wanted to put down a checkpoint. Now, the checkpoint was annoying to get working because I wanted there to be a sound effect. So I just went through the sound effects library for a bit, found something that sort of sounded like a harp, picked that one, put it in, and then I had a working checkpoint. But I wanted the music to dim because you could barely hear it, so I did that, and then it looked like it was finally working. So once I finished that, I started working on the rope, which took me at least half an hour to get working. With the use of toggle triggers right away, as soon as you got through the floor, at the very beginning, it would toggle off the block that you'd go up and down on. Then, once you got over to the rope, if you jumped and tapped the toggle trigger, then you would toggle on a movement trigger, barely above the block, so then once you hit back down, you'd go up, but you wouldn't trigger it twice. And then once you went up past the toggle trigger, you would hit a touch toggle trigger that would actually turn the move trigger off again. And then you'd have all of that stuff multi-trigger, so you could hit it multiple times. And then I repeated the same thing at the top, and I had a working rope. The next part of my level is what I like to call the vault. So this was the first coin of the level, and how it really worked was just that you go up the rope, go into jetpack mode, and then you need to get the coin. But I didn't know what I wanted to do for like the you might die part of it, right? So at first I was planning to do, you know what, let's do some straight fly. But that didn't seem like a lot of fun, especially for the theme of the level, which is like a medieval sky deep kingdom. So what I wanted to do was add lasers. Now this level's already gone off the rails for any theme whatsoever. Now it's just like random decoration. But I really did like the laser idea. But I finally finished the vault, so now I wanted to move on to the maze. Now the maze is about as easy and simple as it sounds. Bunch of default blocks making up a maze that's only for a ball, and you can see from beginning to end. This part's just like a filler meant to transition to the next part, but it's not meant to be anything really special. So I just added the ball part, made the actual maze part, added in some spikes, and there, I had the maze, along with some camera angles. Then, I finally started some decoration. First, I added that level opening when you burst through the floor at the very beginning. This part was long overdue, and it was nice to finally get that out of the way. Then, I started working on the actual first room part. Finding the blocks for the block design, that part was easy. But getting these things to line up was practically impossible. I could not get it to work. So I just settled on some of these pillar blocks, made those there, made it so that it looked like it was 3D, so you'd enter in between two different pillars. Added that on the back, and then I had the pillars in. I added in a gray background, and then some of these shiny block things, I don't know what they are. And then I had the first part done. Then it was on to the mine. Now this part was fairly simple. Just add in some dirt blocks and a background. So I quickly got work to doing that. I added in the background first, and then the dirt blocks, then some glow to make it look a lot better. Once I added all that in, the part looked just about finished, so I started working on the vault. I did almost nothing on this part, really. I added like a little thing that the coin rests on, made the lasers look a bit better, and some cobwebs around corners. I was really set on having some coins put in, but I couldn't find any pixel blocks, and I was too bad to make them. So this is what it looked like in the end. So, to end off part 1 of this series of I don't know how many episodes yet, we end off with 2.5 hours of level time, or around there at least. And here is a showcase. That is the end of part 1. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.